So we're coming into December of 2024. The year's come to an end very quick, and there's some new releases that are coming up as of December 15th. These announcements were made on September 12th of 2024, and they're now going to kick in the 15th of this month, which is really going to completely shift the trajectory of the market coming into 2025 and 2026. So it's really good to have a good grip, a good understanding of some of these new changes that are coming up. And this is what we're going to be covering today. Before I get into it, for those who are new here, my name is Clement. I'm a real estate broker here in the Greater Toronto area. I mainly focus on residential real estate. So if you're watching this and you have that inkling to have a conversation, maybe you're trying to move in, maybe you're trying to have a good understanding of the area you want to get in, or you don't know the home buying process, this is the channel for you. If you want to reach out to me, look at the description down there, where we can get into a quick Zoom call or just a call over the phone and take it from there and see if it makes sense for us to work together or not. So let's get into the video here. The high cost of mortgage payments has been a huge problem in the past 2 years, 3 years. I'll say since the peak of the market in 2021, where the interest rates were as low as 1.9% and pretty much less than 2%. The high cost of mortgages have completely gone up, and it has become a problem, particularly for millennials and Gen Z. So what the government is trying to do now with this new introduction coming in December 15th is they're trying to make homes more affordable, one. The second thing, they're trying to build more homes into the community. And let's face it, yes, the mortgage rate is really high, so this has been an issue. But the bigger issue that we are encountering here is a lack of homes in the market. So let's look at the first change here. By December 15, 2024, the government is increasing the 1 million price cap for insured mortgages to 1.5 million. This is to reflect the current housing market realities and help more Canadians qualify for a mortgage with a down payment below 20%. Increasing the insured mortgage cap, which has not been adjusted since 2012, to 1.5 million will help Canadians buy a home. So looking at this, it's going to give buyers a broader search criteria that you can now go into the market and do your searches and confidently put in an offer, because now you are in a position to submit an offer of 1.2, 1.3 with a lesser down payment, where you can almost buy a $1.2 million property at a down payment of close to $80,000, which before that would have only gotten you like a $800,000 property. So this is a significant change. This allows a lot of buyers to have some wiggle room in terms of negotiations, and also where you can now search some of the homes that you want to search for. Is this going to be a positive thing? We'll find out. I'm going to look at some examples here and see what this means to you as a home buyer coming into this market of 2025 and towards the end of this year. So the second thing that the government is about to do as well is expanding eligibility for 30-year mortgage amortization to all first-time home buyers and all buyers of new builds to reduce the cost of monthly mortgage payments and help more Canadians buy a home. By helping Canadians buy new builds, including condos, the government is announcing yet another measure to incentivize new housing construction and tackle the housing shortage. This builds on the budget of 2024 commitment, which came into effect on August 1st, 2024, permitting 30-year mortgage amortization for first-time home buyers purchasing new builds, including condos. Does this benefit you to get into the 30-year amortization? Yes, in the sense of you're paying less on a monthly rate today. You're saving now and you're paying later. So in summary, that's really what this means. And is this a good thing for sellers? It's going to be good, because now you're going to have the ability to have your property sold, because a lot of your homes right now are staying in the market a little bit longer. Your property is now obviously going to appreciate. If you are already in the market, it's a good thing. If you're coming into the market, this is one of the only options you currently have in terms of affordability, particularly if you're a millennial or if you're a Gen Z and you're coming in as a couple purchasing a new home, or if you're buying a home as a single person. Coming into the market today, this is going to be your best bet in terms of having the ability to own and afford a home and still have a life, still go out on vacation, still have trips with you and your family. So now that you know what's coming up on December 15th, let me give you some examples on some pros and cons here and what this looks like for you. And I'm going to give you a good example, so let's look at it. So when buying a home, what are the things we look at? We look at the house price, we look at the down payment, we look at the mortgage insurance, and then we'll see the total amount that you're going to be paying. So let's look at all this, and let me give you an example of a purchase price of $500,000. I know we don't really have a lot of $500,000 properties today, but let's look at it as an example, and you can just input whatever number that works for you in your purchase price. So the house price, you have 500,000. The down payment, let's say we're going for 5%. This is going to be 25,000. This is 5% of 500,000. Then you have your mortgage insurance. Typically, this comes to 4% is what you're paying, 4% of the purchase price. So this will be 19,000. So this amount of mortgage that you're getting will be 494,000. Now, let's look at the interest rate. So let's say the interest rate today that you could get is 5%. I'm just using 5% as an average. So what is 5% with a 25-year amortization at a 3-year fixed? This will be $2,873.13. So if we look at this at a 30-year mortgage, this would be $2,636.43. So this is a difference of $250 that you're going to be pocketing into your account every single month if you're going with a 30-year to a 25-year amortization. Obviously, purchase point will make a difference, and that difference will be a huge one. But as of now, you're looking at $250. So the positive side of this is you're saving $250 per month. In the long run, though, you're going to be paying more in the mortgage. So for a 25-year mortgage for $494,000, in the long run, the total cost of that loan is $861,938. For a 30-year amortization for $494,000 mortgage, in the long run, the whole span of 30 years, you'd be paying $949,115. So this will be an extra of around $80,000 that you're paying in the mortgage. So this is the hidden cost that a lot of you are not going to be able to see. So obviously, a majority of you buying these properties and you're doing the amortization, you're not going to keep it for 30 years. But for whatever span that you're keeping it, even though you're keeping it for 3 years, if you're keeping it for 5 years, just understand you're saving now, as I said, and you're paying later. So that is how you should really be looking at it, and really equate these numbers and make sure they work for you in the long run. They work for you in a beneficial sense. So yes, the good thing is you're in the GTA, and the real estate market typically has an upward trend. If you look at the trend line, I've always talked about this. So your property in a typical basis, usually the real estate market appreciates it within that 6% rate. So you'll be in a good position. Let's say you can do your math. If you're buying a property for $800,000, you can do this in a 4% appreciation within a year. What will that put you into? Then you do that into 3 years, 5 years, depending on the time period that you have with you, your family, and the plan that you have there. So there are some benefits to this new incentive that's coming in as of December 15th, though there are also some cons in this. So you just have to get clear on all these options that you have as a home buyer. That way you know what you're getting into. Now, as a seller in the market today, you now want to have a good understanding of this, because yes, you're now in a position where there's going to be more buyers. And I'll give you an example right now. If you have your home in the market today, you only have one buyer there. When you have one buyer, you're more so controlled by what the buyer is going to bring in terms of an offer. Maybe in January or in February, you put your property up, you have 2 or 3 buyers who are submitting an offer for that property. What does that do? It increases the purchase price for you, because now there's 3 people who are really interested in this, and you're getting into a slight of a bid, and this creates and gives you an extra $50,000, $30,000, which obviously will make you happy. On a seller's point, this is going to be very beneficial for you, because there's going to be more buyers in the pool, and this problem of a lack of supply, a lack of homes in the market, is still going to benefit you as a seller, because supply and demand. If there's less supply in the market and there's high demand, that brings in a higher price point. So if you're in a position where you're downsizing, we call it smart sizing, then you are sitting really good because you're going to be able to have good equity for your property to be in a position to purchase a home at a lower rate and maybe take some change at home, or maybe buy a home that you just kind of renovate to whatever your liking is, or buy a home and support your family. If you have kids, support your family, and they're able to also now get into new investments out there. Because if you look at how the market is going within the next 5 years and the next 10 years, we're getting into some different price points, and the inflation rates, it's very hard to kind of judge exactly where this is going to stick. But when you look at how the market is, and you just look at what's going on with all these properties, and the lack of and the demand that has always been there in the Greater Toronto area, this will always show you that the price point will always be there. The price point will always keep going up no matter what's going on with the market. So you just have to have a really good understanding of all this, and you'll be in a really good position. So this is all that I have for this one. I'm going to talk into detail on other things regarding this changes coming into later on December, and even coming into the new year, when we are now looking at the whole trajectory of what has happened in 2024 and what are some of the predictions coming up in 2025. So when I do that detailed video, you'll see a lot more of the discussions that I think will be really good for you to plan coming into the new year. Until next time, have a good one, guys. Thank you.